Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back to Real Opinions. This is another film from the London Film Festival. If you want to see any of the others that we've covered from this festival, there's quite a few. There's a playlist link down below, or there'll be somewhere on the screen where you can find out more. But with this episode, I'm going to be reviewing Arrival, which is the latest film by Denis Villeneuve. So this comes right off Sicario and Prisoners and Enemy, and just before he's about to do Blade Runner, I think 2049 is the total. So he's a real director to watch, and that was enough for me to sell this film. The story is that Amy Adams is a professor of linguistics. It starts from the day that aliens arrive on Earth. These kind of concave ships have appeared everywhere across the planet in random locations. I think there was 12 or 13, and they've just appeared out of nowhere. And so obviously they people want to find out why, and the hole at the bottom of the ship opens up every 12 hours and they can go in and meet the aliens. And so Amy Adams is brought in to decipher the aliens' language alongside Jeremy Renner, who's a physicist. I really did enjoy this film. I really did think it was fun. It was a good, intelligent sci-fi film, which I really wanted, and it was a hard sci-fi film as well, where basically the difference being that hard sci-fi is that it's semi-realistic, at least it's not like preposterous or like up in space or something like that. It's what happens if this happens to humans as we are now, almost. Or like it's almost like a what-if story. And I really enjoyed all the intellectual talk in this film. I suppose the closest films I could compare it to in recent years, and this will be like the turning point for some people, is that it's basically Ex Machina meets Interstellar. So the first 2/3, I suppose, are a lot like Ex Machina, in that it's the talking, and the talking is very intelligent and very interesting, and they handle these scientific ideas that have been done in film hundreds of times before. In this case, it's the linguistics, and breaking down the linguistics and the how do you decipher a language which you have no idea how to decipher. That I found incredibly interesting, and the way that it was written was very intriguing as well. And it gave time for the characters as well as this idea as well, which I think was more than they did in Ex Machina, for the main character at least. I felt like the characters really developed at the same time as the plot, and it was just really great building up to it. And then the last third is a lot like Interstellar. If you've seen the ending of Interstellar, like it kind of turns everything on its head, and it gets a bit like the ideas from before are still definitely there, but it gets a bit ridiculous. And I did not find that completely ruined the rest of the film, not at all. I mean, I like I said, I really enjoyed this film, but it's a bit of a letdown for what was so intelligent and so grounded before, to then kind of just being turned about with this thing that I would honestly call just ridiculous. Like, it was just a bit like I was so involved with the film that I wasn't rolling my eyes, but I just really wanted it. Like, I really wanted an ending as intelligent, I know, just as subtle as everything that came before it. I liked the structure of everything. I liked the acting was incredible. The cinematography was great. Your Movie Sucks mentioned that the cinematography isn't as good as his past films, and I definitely agree. There are moments where it's just not got that punch to it that the last few films have had. Not bad by any means, of course, just it hasn't got that same flair. If anything, I think it just makes you realise how good Roger Deakins is. Like, because even though I'd say the shot styles are very similar and that they are very serviceable in the same way that Roger Deakins aims to be serviceable, it's the lighting. I think it's not the composition of anything, except for like the odd thing. It's just how everything's lit, and there's just something much more basic to it as opposed to how everything was presented in Sicario or Prisoners. Yeah, the script, directing, everything from that is great, except for this kind of last third where it goes a bit off the rails, I'd say. It all makes sense in the end, technically, it all makes sense, but in the same way that, like I said, the same way Interstellar makes sense. Still, I found it very enjoyable. I definitely recommend it if it sounds like anything. It's like, if you want to see a good sci-fi film in the cinema, go see this. I really liked the pacing of it. Like, it wasn't an action film by any means, but it had this really almost like glacial pace through it, and it was just, I was talking to a critic in the cinema, and he said it was almost like a meditative experience, and I definitely agree with that, in that it's a very relaxing sci-fi film, yet there's still building tension in it, but you never feel like heart pounding. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just intellectual in that way, and I just enjoyed that. 8 out of 10, I'd say, definitely. If it wasn't for that ending, I think it could have been a 9.